Very good evening to our honored guests, dignitaries, faculty members, and all FDP attendees. A thought just passed by when I was looking for a quote. The increasing presence of cloud computing and mobile smartphones is deriving the digitization of everything across both consumer and enterprise domain. It is hard to imagine any area of human activity which is not being re-engineered under this influence either at present or in the very near future. I just took this quote from a very famous author, Jeffrey Moore. I, Dr. Harsha Ratnani, on behalf of Jagannath International Management School, Vasant Kunj, New Delhi, welcome you all on the fourth day of 1 week online ATAL Faculty Development Program on integrating generative AI, cloud, and ethical frameworks for academia and research innovation, organized by Department of Information Technology, JIMS, Vasant Kunj, New Delhi. A special thanks to all our advisories, our esteemed chairman, Dr. Amit Gupta, respected director, Professor Dr. Meenakshi Narula, and our patron, Professor Dr. Ravi Kedar. With their leadership, we have successfully garnered various distinctions for our organization till date. Today we have amongst us for the special session Mr. Saket Gandhi. Mr. Saket has more than 19 plus years of experience in the IT industry and 6 plus years of experience in cloud services, computer networking, computer infrastructure migration from on-premises data center to cloud, and E2E product launches as program manager and leader. Mr. Gandhi has been associated with Oracle America for more than 2 years. He's a multi-cloud certified professional with more than 5 plus certifications in all major hyperscalers like AWS, Azure, GCP, OCI. Before joining Oracle, Mr. Gandhi had an extensive and rewarding career with Deloitte, Wipro, and Tata Consultancy Services. Along his professional journey, he has also pursued leadership, AI/ML, and product management programs from Wharton Cornell University of Texas and Berkeley Haas School of Business. He'll be here with us today to take the sessions on cloud computing fundamentals for AI integration, followed by the session on cloud-based AI model deployment and optimization. We welcome you, Saket, sir, and look forward to have an enriching session with you.
Thank
So
you.
you'll be sharing a slide. Should I stop?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the introduction and thank you everyone for joining. So already you guys have my introduction, so let's get started. So give me 1 second before I share my screen. Okay, hope everyone can see my screen. So this specific session is mostly focused on cloud and cloud computing and AI. So probably like for the second session, this would be the kind of a basics or a foundation of what cloud computing is, and then how we are integrating AI in terms of model deployment, which we will look into this session. So getting started, so when we talk about cloud computing, so people have kind of different ideas. People get say like, what's cloud computing? We always think that we are using a iPhone which has a cloud and that's cloud computing. In one way it's right, but in different ways, if you see, cloud is a very big terminology, or you can say a big subject. So like if you see, as I mentioned, it's someone else computer in their data center. So basically it's kind of a computer, but again that computer which we are using not as a personal computer, but that's on the data center, like a big center where we have all different technology stacks in terms of servers, your databases, your all different compute, and every infrastructure is there, and that we are using through our computer, through internet, and that's what we called a public cloud, and which we'll deep dive into. So that is what in general cloud is. And when I generally talk with people about cloud, I generally give a good idea. Like I have just taken some story, like before I dive into this specific slide. Generally, when we talk about cloud, like if somebody is new, I generally ask like what cloud is. So I give an example, like for an example, mostly in US or any other country, when we have a person wants to get things done, like for an example, they want to get their, I'm just giving a very general idea. When we want to wash clothes, we get into a laundromat in US where we pay them for getting our clothes washed. So probably instead of installing our own machine in our house because there it's very expensive and we need a place. So we go into some other place where we put the coins, we use their machinery, we use their all the infrastructure, and I will define that as a cloud. So for that, I will just flip once more again, sharing my kind of a story which I was talking, which will give more idea for people. I know that people will definitely have good knowledge, but just for a good example to share, which I was talking about. One sec. So for simple terms, one sec. I just put this kind of story where it says like there was a guy. They said they have a question like what is cloud is. So as I was talking about an example of a laundromat, so then they said that it's a public facility. That's we have many washers dryers where we can use the clothes to wash and dry. And then we said that, as I said, like uh, I have already told, like managing the fixing the, we don't have the kind of a take the hassle of fixing everything ourselves. We can get a clothes wash. We don't have to manage that infrastructure and all the stories about uh, the cloud, what we are doing. So basically, rather than going on premise, like if we are talking about our home, we are saying in one terms of on premise, and we are going into a laundromat, I would say it's a public cloud, which I will discuss more what public cloud is. And we are using those kind of facilities over there. And that's what I defined as a cloud. And then we can deep dive more into, and we have more clouds like GCP, AWS, Azure. We can talk more about it. So coming back to the slide again. Okay, so in terms of our focus over here is we have like different infrastructure providers. Like as I mentioned over here, the main cloud providers are AWS, Google, Azure, and I am from Oracle, so I have not put in OCI, but at some slides you will see Oracle as well. Then we have different vendors, and then we have these guys provide us the services, and then we have the infrastructure they are providing, the platform they are providing, the apps they are providing, and we will talk more about in the further slides. So this is, and we are the end users over here. We are using this cloud which is provided by these providers. We pay them, and how we use their services we will discuss more. So any questions so far from anyone? Okay, so mo moving on. So we will again, as I said, like it's a massively scalable IT related capabilities. Like we can use as any kind of service. I will discuss about what are the different service platform we can use in the cloud, and we are getting a pool of highly scalable and managed computer infrastructure, which we are using on the end customer applications, and we are built by consumption. Like we will talk about pay as you go model, like we just pay them. As I was talking, if you're using the infrastructure we have to pay them. So if we are using any services, so that is called that's we have to provide a bill which we use to pay even our, like in general we are using any telephone services, we pay our bills. So similarly we have to pay the cloud vendor. So that's what is talking about. So myths about cloud computing. So basically these myths which I have mentioned over here, people think about in this way, but it's not exactly true, but in some kind it's true. People say that's one single cloud because people who doesn't know about cloud, as in the market there are various cloud providers, public providers. Now we have AWS, Amazon Web Services, we have Azure, which is for Microsoft, then Google Cloud Platform, then we have Oracle OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, then we have Salesforce. So many clouds are there, so depends what kind of cloud we wanted to use. So that's why, though we are saying it's one single cloud, but in it's a general term, but it doesn't mean that it's one cloud in one way. But if you see, there are different providers. So like we talk about a mobile company, we are saying that we have one network services, but we have different providers like Airtel, we have Vodafone or whatever over here. And we say that all you need is a credit card. Definitely we have to pay them. So credit card is one of the way to pay, and then but you can do different ways to pay it out. It depends like how we are paying. But in general, if we wanted to use as a single, we as a general user, we generally use a credit card. We associate with the account like we do for generally if we do for Amazon shopping, We use credit card, we even use debit card, we use any gift card. So in cloud also, it's not like you just need to use a credit card. There could be different ways to pay out. Cloud always saves your money. Definitely it saves your money, but it comes with the cost. So that's what it's about talking about. Then we say that cloud always reduces your workload integration. So definitely it reduces your workload integration. So when we talk about AI, we will talk about AI, though you will not see much AI over here in my this session, but I will still talk about it so that you can have connection with the cloud. So when we say reduce workload, we could use AI without the cloud also, but definitely why we are using AI with cloud is that because cloud provides different what you call processing units like GPUs, graphic processing unit, then TPUs, your tensor processing unit, and that works very well with the cloud and AI, and it helps to reduce the workload. So probably that's why most of the days AI is more compatible, or you can say more collision with cloud. That's why in this session also we are saying cloud computing with AI, though they are different terminologies, but they can be associated if need to be. A cloud provider can guarantee security. That's not exactly true. There are hackings keep on going on. There are different issues happening about, but but still we are moving to cloud because there's no security everywhere. But yeah, definitely with different security protocols. I believe we have session on the security maybe tomorrow. I am not able to attend any of the session, but as we have different security, you have firewalls and you have different antivirus which are your which you can install on your cloud, and you can provide security. So I will not talk about security, but again, there are still chances where you don't have that complete security. You have to take the risk and see what is the benefit for you. If you're using virtualization, you're doing cloud computing. In one way, it is correct, but in one way, it's not correct, because if you are using public cloud, then you are using virtualization. But maybe if you are using a private cloud, which is your on premise, maybe you're not using virtualization. So it all depends. And cloud computing is only about technology. Yeah, definitely it's a technology, but again, you will not say that people will discriminate technology. Like if you talk about technology stack, but because cloud tech computing is a compromisation of technology stack. So all these statements are true as well as not 100% true, I would say. That's why I have put this slide name as myths of cloud computing. Okay, so moving on, so definitely I will have some questionnaire in the last when we are done with the session. But if in case anybody has any questions, still feel free to let me know. Okay, so moving on. So there are different delivery models when we talk about uh, cloud. So like I was mentioning public or private cloud. So most of the time in big infrastructure places, we are using public cloud. Like for an example, AWS is a public cloud. You can say Azure is a public cloud. OCI is a public cloud. Azure is a public cloud. But when you talk about private cloud, many companies, they have their own private cloud. They don't use Amazon, or they don't use Azure, or they don't use any of them. And that's what we call private cloud. But like for an example, if I talk about Salesforce, I could say that it could be a private cloud because Salesforce is implementing Salesforce within their own center. They are not providing outside or any other cloud which is coming, which is not available to the public. We will segregate as a private cloud. And then if you see, like as I was talking about, uh, definitely for any cloud, we need a infrastructure layer. We need the processors. We need the infrastructure, like a building we are building. As I was talking about, an example of a laundromat. For establishing a laundromat, or which is a cloud, I am talking about, we need the machine, we need the washer, we need the dryer. And then we talk about platform layer. Platform layer would be kind of you are installing a software. Like for an example, if you want to drive a washing machine or you want to drive anything, you have to install a software on top of it. So like Elastic Beanstalk and this Cloud Foundry, these are all your platform which are built on top of infrastructure. And then as a complete, this is an application which we are using. Like we say that Jira is on cloud. So that would be your application, like when we that and that's why we talk about on the right side infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So infrastructure as a service, we have on-demand computing, infrastructure outsourcing, and platform as I was talking, you're installing a kind of a software on top of it on the infrastructure, and then you're selling it as a complete package as software as a service. And probably when we talk about AI, we talk about mostly a software as a service. Like we have I believe we have some sessions before, as I was unfortunately not able to attend. So we have chatbot. So chatbot is a kind of a AI software, which again would be implemented on cloud, and but we are selling as a software as a service. And like again, top of it, we have generative AI, which is chat GPT, which is again top of AI. So that will be all complete as a software as a service probably. So these were the service delivery models which we deliver as a part of cloud computing. And talking about the market, I just wanted to make people ensure. Definitely, Amazon Web Services, which is called AWS, was one of the leaders in cloud and still the leaders, I would say, though different clouds are progressing. Because this slide would be a little bit low, because if you see, I have take source Gartner as 2017, so this would be not totally true, but definitely still people think AWS is a cloud. You would have not seen so much about OCI, though I am from Oracle. But now, if you see the market value or the share price, Oracle is growing as well. Because at one point of time, they were into the niche players, or they were the visionaries. Now they are again moving into the leaders. I believe Oracle is now at the fourth position or something like that. But that's what it's talking about. And it depends on also people we have questions when we need to use AWS, when we need to use Microsoft, when we need to use Google. So it depends. AWS has a lot of services. The breadth and depth of the services AWS has too much actually. But if your organization has lot of Microsoft applications like Microsoft 365 and all those stuff, then Azure is the best bet. And if you wanted to use Kubernetes or you wanted to use analytics, then Google can come into place. Similarly, if people have a lot of Oracle based applications, like you are using Oracle database, you are using more Oracle applications, then you can have OCI. Now, I'm not sure people would have heard that Oracle database is available in all the clouds. So now Oracle has tied up with many different clouds like AWS, you can use Oracle database. So that's called cloud, multi-cloud, which we are talking most of the day. So you can use AWS, Oracle database from AWS, Microsoft, Google. Now I have heard they have even done some association with Meta also recently, OCI. So this is all about this slide was mentioning. So I wanted to explain, like as I was talking about, as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, to give a great idea to everyone. If people are aware, then it's good. But to just to refresh, like if you talk about a pizza, which we are building it on it, so that's why I have segregated on a on-premise like dining table, soda, electric gas, oven, fire, pizza duct, tomato sauce, or all those things. I have said that I have made at home, so that's why I called it at on-premise or traditional database. But when I talk about infrastructure as a service, so in continuation from the previous slide, again we have we have the vendor. Like for an example, when we talk about vendor, Amazon could be a vendor. So they are managing some stuff for you. Or like for an example, if you talk about pizza, you are asking getting the cheese, the toppings, and tomato sauce and pizza duck from Pizza Hut, and other things like dining table, soda, electric gas, oven, fire. This is all at your place. So that's what we call infrastructure as a service. You take it and bake it. But when you platform as a service, you have most of the things managed by the vendor. You are just providing the software like a dining table or a soda. You can consider as installing a software on top of it, and that is dining table and soda. You have all the stuff available, the infrastructure is available, and that's what I have segregated as a platform. But if everything is managed from the vendor, you are not doing anything. Like as I was talking about software as a service, Jira, which is a tool for agile, can be a software as a service. Or we can talk about AI application could be a software as a service, and everything is managed by the vendor. You are just paying for the application and using it. So this is what all about. So I will just take a pause. Any questions from anyone so far? Okay. So this is all about I have talked already. Now I have moved more into the technical stack. As I was mentioning, if you have all the things in your on-premise, your virtualization, your server storage, then it's on-premise. Then if you're using networking, storage, server, virtualization, others are managing and like the vendor is managing and you are putting your applications, your data, your middleware, your operating system, then it's all infrastructure. And then talking about platform, you are just managing the application and data. Other things, everything is managed by the AWS provider. So, like I was talking, most of the, if we talk about the industry trends, most of the applications are getting migrated from cloud on-premise to cloud. So, some companies are saying that they wanted to have infrastructure as a service because they want the cloud provider to use help them to provide the application, the data, the runtime. But most of the companies are saying that are going with platform as a service, like they will just provide the data and the applications. Like I will talk about, I was working on one of the assignments at Deloitte. We were migrating for a client, Thomson and Reuters, on the cloud. So they said that they want AWS as a cloud, and Deloitte was helping them. And Deloitte provide platform as a service, like they manage everything, but the Deloitte was not able to provide their application because they don't know about their application. They don't know what kind of application client has, what kind of client data needs. Though Deloitte and Amazon were helping them to transport the data and the application, but it was a responsibility of the customer. That's why it's called you manage mine. The customer was managing the application and data, and Amazon and Deloitte was managing everything like runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization. So that's what the model is called, platform as a service. So it depends what is the demand, what you needed. So if you have a good technical people in your team, you can go with infrastructure as a service. If you have less technical team, you can go as a platform as a service. If you don't have any, if you want to manage software as a service, you can do anything. So it all depends on the need of the customer as well, what they are comfortable with, what they can do, what they can manage, and all this is discussed before any application is migrated to cloud. So I just want to touch upon that as well. So this kind of slide would be a little bit more too much to absorb, so I will not go into deep dive. I just put in, it's again talk about all the different terminologies which we are using, because when we are moving into cloud we have to take care of the licensing, like I have mentioned over here various licensing needs. We have to, it looks very easy like we just need to move into cloud, but we need to take care of the certificates for the security, I think, which would be covered tomorrow probably. Then what are the licensing needs, like are you going with pay as you go model or you will be using your own licenses? Then what kind of patches your team will be responsible for? So all this is, it depends. Whenever the cloud migration is started, it is discussed between the customer and the client, sorry, customer and the cloud provider, and if any consulting team is involved, what would be the responsibilities we called as responsibility assigned matrix. And accordingly, like whether the CI/CD pipeline, like continuous integration, continuous deployment would be set up by the customer, or it would be by the consulting team. So all this is decided before any cloud migration begins. So why cloud? Why we say that? like as this session is mostly associated with AI on cloud computing. So the question comes in, why we need cloud. So the reason why we need cloud is like, uh, again, cost is one of the big factors. Then you don't have to manage everything. We talk about different platform services. Then there are so many tools now. We will talk about in the next session what are the different cloud services, what are the different cloud tools, what are the different migration strategies we can use, or how we deploy cloud. So when we use a public cloud, it provides everything as a package. It's like going into a kind of a video game. You just go, you have a menu, you can use whatever it is, but you need to have definitely a knowledge. That's why we involved different vendors like Amazon, or in any consulting team is required. So, but now you will see cloud computing is a world for anything coming into picture. That's why AI is also into cloud. It's not like AI can't be done on without cloud. You can still do AI on cloud, but again, as I said, cloud provides you everything, whether in terms of providing the cost benefits, the processing. I talked about the GPUs, I talked about tensor processing units. So all this which AI needs for its cloud can provide. That's why everything is mostly deployed on cloud using cloud tools. So providing better opportunities and higher profits. So as I talked about most of the things, um, again, in the next session, we will again talk about on what basis we choose a choice of provider. I already covered. It depends on your need. If you need AWS, you need Azure, you need Google Cloud. So it depends on the provider choice. Similarly, AI also, like, it depends what, in terms of, you can build the any kind of any AI software. Like for an example, if you have built a chatbot, or you are building any other chatting software which uses AI, it doesn't mean that you have to use AWS. You can use any cloud provider, but again, it depends on the expertise, it depends on the need, it depends what the team is more comfortable with. So the application will be built on any cloud. It doesn't mean that it has to be built. It depends on the compatibility. So various factors are considered. So that's a choice of provider. Again, uh, we talk about, like, as I was saying, that if you have Microsoft, more of your applications on Microsoft based, so maybe Azure is really the best, and then you may have say more cost on Microsoft Azure because you have integration with Azure easily, so you don't have to worry about integration. So in that case, Azure could be more cost reduction. Or maybe if you wanted to employ deploy in a different data center, like for an example, when I talk about economy scale for cost reduction, people will have a question like, every company has a cloud, and how will know that what is a cost comparison? So it depends. It could happen that you wanted to deploy in Dubai, I'm just saying, and you know that we don't have a data center from Oracle in Dubai. So you see that you have AWS over there. So you don't have a choice. But now again, if you have AWS and OCI available over there, then again you will compare what kind of application you're installing. Like for an example, if you are using AI application, you need TPUs over there, tensor processing unit, or GPUs. You need to see that what they are charging. Like for an example, if you are able to send say few cents or few dollars, so, and you feel like the business is low, you feel like, okay, OCI is less mature but it is saving you more cost, so you can go with OCI. So there are a lot of decision making is very difficult now, especially with so many clouds coming in. Earlier, like as I said, Amazon was the only service provider, so it was easier. But now with different cloud providers coming in, so the competition is getting more tougher. So it depends. Now, like as I said, infrastructure like capex to opex. So capex to opex means that capex is your opex is your operational cost, and capex is your ongoing cost. So operational cost, what how you are like suppose you have to compare after you move to AWS. You suppose an example, you are a health company, and before buying a cloud or going into the cloud, you will just first ensure that you will see that the previous client which AWS migrated, which was again a health cloud, how much they have saved, what are their ongoing expenses coming into it. So they will compare, and then they may go to again to Oracle also, and they say that okay, Oracle has also has moved a similar health based customer into the cloud. So what is the saving they are having? And that's what they see. If they are matching it and they feel like okay, Oracle is saving them more cost, so operational cost, like, because when you are using the resources you have to pay, like, it depends. So if you feel like Oracle is charging you less, so in the subscription based, then you will go with Oracle. So that's what is all about. And agility on demand, again, what is the performance? You have to ensure that. So again, customer having lot of tough time now deciding on moving to cloud. They compare, they see, and then again depends on the relationship. What's your relationship with that customer is. People see, okay, if you are using Oracle database, you feel like you're more comfortable, you will do OCI. So again, it's talking about the cloud computing attributes, which I've already talked about: storage, networking. Then as I said, like in cloud, we have subscription based models. If you feel like you want, and now you know that you have to take a 5-year contract with Amazon. So like that even in our shopping, for an example, Amazon Prime, we say that if we are paying every month, we pay $20 every month. But if we take for 12 months, it comes to $250. So it depends. If you know that you are using for an year at least, so you will go with the long base subscription. So that's what it talk about subscription. Then if you need a support, so like if you go into any cloud and you are not comfortable after moving to the cloud. So for an example, when I was talking about when we moved applications from on premise to cloud, the customer want at least 6 months or 2 months of support. Or so it depends. They have to see which cloud service provider is providing less cost in terms of providing those services, and accordingly they decide. So it talks about those kind of services, the business logic, support services, and all these is talking about the different attributes. It's basically as simple. People feel cloud is very complex. It's just simply like purchasing a computer from the market. You have the infrastructure, then you have the support from the vendor, then you have the payment fees. Either you are paying monthly cost or you paying them all together. So it's all same thing. It's just you are now on the cloud. This would be kind of little bit more deep dive. I will not go into more into that, but it's talking about again, you are a cloud customer, then you are, it's just giving a picture that you have a service deck, you have a technical team to support once you have moved into cloud. So it's talking about all those stuff which I have talked about. So again, the main hesitation which I have seen companies or customers moving into cloud is they are kind of hesitant into up into the security with the cloud. People say that if they move their data into the cloud, how they will be secured because they don't have any control. But again you need to have that data available in the cloud, because you can use the cloud on your infrastructure on your, but again it would be very difficult, because if your software, your applications are on cloud, then definitely you have to have your data into the cloud. And if you have the data into the cloud, then you have to use cloud storage as a service. So we have different storage services in the cloud. Like in Amazon we have S3, which is called the bucket storage. Like we have a hard drive in the computer. Similarly, we have S3 simple storage services, which we called. That is why it is called store S3. So we have to move into the cloud, but we have to build the confidence with the customer. Like we have the different security protocols that the data is secure, and we have to ensure the customer that there were no security breaches in the cloud. We have to tell them like so far what are the security guardrails, what are the different firewalls we have established, what kind of security we are not allowing public access. We have a good identity and management in place, and like we have IAM services which is called identity and management. What kind of authorization, like now you know that we have multi-factor authentication coming into picture. Uh, I have traveled to India after a long means I in India now we have seen like people have the pin coming into, or you have your code coming into, you have your authentication devices. So all those is all your those security protocols. If you are able to convince the customer and you are able to ensure the customer that your data is secure, so customer is comfortable moving into cloud. So again, we have again customer data. As I said, like the main challenge which the companies are facing is migrating the data also into the cloud, because when you have your customer data into the cloud, you have to move into the cloud, and you have to ensure that when you are moving the data from from your on premise to the cloud, you have security. Definitely you will have security in the cloud, but while you are moving your data should be secure. So that time encryption comes into place. I believe that will be also covered as a part of security. So what all the security encryptions you have placed? Because we have encryption and decryption in place so that the data is secured. So all those is very important when you are moving data into the cloud. And definitely how much you are trying to secure, there is always a chance of hacking and all in place, and that's why we have the patches in place. If you see, if you have any phone, maybe iPhone or any other phone, you will see the patches are always coming in every month to upgrade to your system. So that's what is happen in the cloud also. You have to ensure that the patching is in place. You are scheduling your patching in time, and the ensure that the data is safe, your encryptions in place, your security ports are in place. You are not having, if you see in the websites we have HTTPS, so you have to ensure you have the certificates in place, and then you have to ensure you have TLS certificate, transport layer security, those are all secured. And all those things you have to negotiate, you have to make client educated and ensure that helps. And like I was talking about private cloud also, again, like it's again into your own data center. You're not using public services. People definitely, if you are using your own private cloud, it is more secure. But again, it could be more costlier because you have to maintain your own data center. That's why we are moving into the public cloud. So you have to, that's why some customers are they are trying to have some stuff in the private cloud and they are using public cloud, and that is what is called hybrid cloud. So you may heard public, private, hybrid. So all these are terminologies associated how you are managing your application, how you are managing your data. So all this is depends on the customer need, customer confidence, and all those basically the need of the customer. So uh, again we talk about, we have a we have a concept of tenants. I'm not sure if people know about tenant. Tenant is an kind of a account in the cloud. Like for an example, you are using AWS services or you are using any cloud, and you have different environments. Like for an example, when you do development, so like an actual development coding, you do development, you have a QA, you have promote your code to the staging, you move your code to the production. So similarly, same things happen in cloud also. So you may have different tenants for different environment. Like you will You will deploy your development components in the development tenant, a kind of an account. You can say a tenant is an account, and similarly, you staging tenant, and then you have production tenant, UAT tenant. So it's kind of an account, and each customer can have different accounts. It's all how you are managing your cloud deployment. So it's all the same in general software coding aspects, but it's again into the cloud. So any questions so far from anyone?
So which one do you, like how can we relate with like the private community? Is there any particular example through which you can explain this?
Yeah, so as I said, like when we say private is meaning like that, for an example, let me talk about. So for companies, I can't comment about other companies because it's all personal to the customer. So sometimes the customer has their own data center. Like for an example, I was talking about Salesforce. Now I think Salesforce also move into public cloud. So Salesforce, you will have your own data center. You are not hiring Amazon, or you're not hiring Azure. You are not going into the public domain. But at the same time, you are maintaining your own data center. You are having your own processor. You are having own storage. So you are using a private cloud. So again, as I said, like I can't comment like what, I don't have the kind of picture right now which customers are mostly into the private cloud. But as I said, most of the customers are now moving into public cloud. And if you see, I don't have that data. All the big customers, whether I talk about any health insurance, any banking domain, any company which is on a larger scale, they are moving into public cloud. But companies which are very small, which don't have too much kind of visibility, or maybe a small bank or a very small private bank which has only one or branch or something like that, they may use own private cloud. But the concept of private cloud is getting finished more, and now it's more into public cloud. But to answer your question, I don't have that kind of slide or visibility right now, but that is what it is.
Yeah,
Does it
thank you.
explain that something?
Yeah, yeah, sir, I got it. Basically, the idea was to get to know because right now India is also struggling to create its own cloud. Where do we stand? So that picture is not clear yet. Still, we are dependent on outsourced cloud from,
Correct. Yeah,
yeah,
because again, the problem is not about you have to establish your own data center. You have to get all your processing needs. It's very costly actually. And again, the benefit with public cloud is that you can move from one cloud to another. Tomorrow, if you feel like Amazon is costly, you can move to Azure. But in the private cloud, you are more constrained. Again, if you need, like for an example, we are talking about AI. If you are saying that you wanted to deploy an AI into your private cloud, then that processing would be so much costlier. The cost will come too much high on the private cloud. So again, then you will feel that you need to move out of the private cloud to the public cloud. Then people will not try to invest more on the private cloud. It's all about more into the money. And now security, definitely, as I said, private cloud has more security. But again, now with so many things are coming into picture, you have to weigh the benefit, where your benefit lies. So that's why, as I said, I hardly heard. So most of the companies, any big customer is now into the public cloud.
yeah, got it. So,
So this is what I was talking about, the hybrid cloud model. As I was saying that sometimes customers are still wanting to have a model where we have both private and public together. So we are saying hybrid cloud there. Like it says, any cloud, one or more, along with any static in-house center are integrated. So basically, you are integrating your private cloud with the public cloud, and then you are making it hybrid because you are still not comfortable. But at one point of time, I'm sure that when they become comfortable, they will again move their private cloud to the public cloud, because anyways they have to save cost. And again, they don't have want to maintain the data center. They don't want it to get it. So that's what about is talking about hybrid cloud, which I have spoken before as well. Okay, so actually, I am then very fast. So probably rather than deep diving into the second one, that could be a bigger one. So any questions anybody has it on any slide or anything they want to discuss, or I can touch upon on any experience. So I would be more happier to discuss.
Yeah, hi Saket. I have a question. I not a question. I just need to want one more thing. You said hybrid cloud. So in hybrid cloud, we can connect with our public cloud with another public cloud like Salesforce with the Amazon as the Salesforce bucket or any other. So this is known as a hybrid cloud here.
Yeah, meaning you can connect private cloud as also into public cloud. And if you're talking about, as I was saying, that now we are integrating Oracle databases into these different other clouds like Amazon. So you can say it's a hybrid, right? It's a multi-cloud, or you can, the word is called multi-cloud because you are using both public. But in terms of hybrid, it is generally in terminology of a private and a public. So when I
Okay.
say two clouds, I generally say multi-cloud. But if you're talking about a private and a public, then I would say it's more a hybrid cloud.
Okay, means to say integration in between multiple clouds, we can go with hybrid, like say, in that
Yeah,
case.
yeah, that's possible.
Thank you.
Any other questions anybody has?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Hello, am I audible?
yes, you are.
Can you please explain virtualization, like hardware virtualization and software virtualization?
Yeah, so I will not having a slide, but I can explain you. So basically, when you are, for an example, you have your own computer, you have your own hardware over there, right? You have your own RAM, you have your own hard disk, and that's called on-premise data center because you have the physical device with yourself. But when you are using a public cloud, you want it, for an example, you are built a AI application, okay, and you are using a processor which is of say 25 GPU, graphical processing unit. But for an example, you feel like your application needs more processing unit, so you wanted to move into another processor, right? But again, you don't have the physical access. So that's why we use called virtualization in cloud. What it does is, as soon as your need gets into that more processing unit, it connects with the data center, it uses the virtualization software and interacts with the data center to provide you that capability of the processing which you need, and so that you can continue building your application. So does it give you an example? And there are different virtualization software over there, which is managed by the public clouds. It depends what they wanted to use.
So,
So
is it similar to the infrastructure as a service or like something like that?
yeah, definitely. Infrastructure as a service, you can say that because anyways, you are providing the compute engine, you are providing the web services, what I mean to say is that whatever need you have instantly for your application on the public cloud, it's all about virtualization, meaning
Hmm.
at the background you're using the data center, but again you need to have a virtualization software to get that capability provided to you instantly so that you can use those services rather than waiting for a longer time. Basically, it's a flip between the software into the data center. Rather than you are going physically and changing the processor, the virtualization software is doing for that. Does it help you to understand?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. And I think Arpana, you have raised your hand.
Sir,
Uh,
may I know the difference between virtualization and cloud computing?
So cloud computing is a bigger, broader term. So as I was saying that you are using, for an example, you can go into your one sec. Okay. So basically, uh, cloud computing is a very broader term. It incorporates everything, your infrastructure. When I say about infrastructure, it's about your processor, your databases, everything. Then your platform, which could be any software on top of it, like For an example, you wanted to install Python on terms of the cloud, that comes as a cloud unit. When we talk about virtualization, you can say it's kind of a way to let the know what the user need it, and the it is basically it gives you the feel. I would not say the feel, it provides you a way to provide you that kind of infrastructure instantly, so that you can use your application, you don't have to wait. And rather than going into the data center, the data center has all the capability. It's not like that it's giving you a fake processing unit. It will give you the actual processing unit, but that software is helping you to give that processing unit to meet your demand, so that you can use whatever you need. So basically, let me explain in you one way. So the best example is, you have you are eating a pizza. Okay, so pizza has you have using a pan pizza, you have 4 pieces. Okay, so you basically you have a less processing unit right now, but instantly you feel like you wanted to eat 8 pizza, means 8 pieces. So you need 4 pieces right now. Now what you will do is, in a normal scenario, you have to go right and to the pizza, or you have to order it, and then that 4 pieces will come. You will have 8 pieces, and you got it what you wanted. So basically, your 8 pieces are fulfilled. But similarly, on the cloud, you are using 4 pieces, 4 processing unit. You need 8 pieces. So the virtualization software will do that part rather than going for you, getting those rest of the 4 pieces. So that rather than taking your time, everything that virtualization software is built on top of your infrastructure, and it plays that role of bringing you that. That's I can explain in a very common term. And for that, we need a hyperscaler. That's a software which is used as a virtualization software. So everything the software does rather than you doing in your own data center. So does it help you?
Hypervisor. Thank you, sir.
Yep. And I think somebody asked me again in the chat, uh, what is infrastructure as a code? So infrastructure as a code is like, you are using a code deployment, like for an example, when you are installing any kind of building a software, like you are building a server. So you use infrastructure as a code, like you use a script over there, right, to build that server. So you are using a coding on the cloud, which is called infrastructure as a code. So basically it's simple, you do a coding on your computer, that is called coding. So an example, I have a desktop or a laptop, I use code. So I would say that I'm doing coding on my computer. Similarly, when you are building code to build the infrastructure, you are using a script to build a infrastructure like a virtual server or your complete virtual stack. That is called infrastructure as a code. So basically, infrastructure as a code is using as infrastructure as a service for sure. So basically, that is a infrastructure as a code. Like uh, we have AWS, we have CloudFormation, we have Terraform. You can say that we are using infrastructure as a code. Those are the different scripts which are building all your virtualization, which are building your infrastructure for your needs, and that's what we call infrastructure as a code. And as I said, you can use Terraform maybe without the cloud, but you're using on the cloud to build all those and building in the form of scripts. That's why we call infrastructure as a code. So does it help you answer that question? I think the question was from Ritu. Does it help you?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Cool. So any other questions from anyone?
Sir, can you please explain about containership in the cloud?
Yeah, that's a good question. So like we talk about infrastructure. So we build virtual servers these days. So like in Amazon, I'm not sure how much definitely you guys would be having hands on, or maybe you would have used. So we use EC2 in the AWS. EC2 is like a service which build a virtual server. But again, these days we have containers which are more handy, which are more easy to provision, and you can say it uses rather than uh, you are using multiple. It's more easy to bootable, like it's more faster. So these days, most of the clouds are moving to the containerized services, and that's why we have a container services. Like we have every cloud, whether it's AWS, whether it's Azure, whether it's called Google, they have their own container services. So we first provision a container, like we provision a infrastructure, and on top of those container we are installing our software, we are using any kind of. And because the Docker is one of the most you the one of the best container services. So we use Docker, and you know that Docker is one of the mostly used these days. So, and containerization, when we talk about, both go hand in hand. So we use container, and on top of it we use a Docker image, and we dockerize that image, and we build the infrastructure. To answer your question, containers are more handy, they are more easily bootable, they are more good with Dockerized images and all, and automation is good. So again, it's not like that every customer is still using doc containers. Some are still using EC2, because EC2 can be cheaper. EC2 can have more kind of more processing capabilities. So it's again a benefit. How your application is built, it all depends. So, but most of the customers which I am seeing in the market right now are using containers, and then on top of it they are using Kubernetes, and they are building pipelines on top of it. So again, it depends on the customer needs.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I don't have those slides, but I can answer any of the questions, and the very good questions are coming up. And definitely, like, I can go and search in the Google, but I don't want to do that. I'm just trying to explain. But if anybody wants to help me out, kind of building a paint picture, I can do that as well. But I'm not good in that painting and all. But I'm trying to explain the best whatever I can do from my end. So, any other questions
Yes,
from anyone?
yes, so one more question. So do
Mhm.
Oracle provide some student subscription, etc.? Sir, as I'm in Delhi University and we are running a course on AWS
Uh-huh.
as a skill enhancement course, the problem I faced is AWS student has to create their AWS
Account.
account,
Right, right.
and students are not comfortable in that because that require credit and debit card, and they are not very friendly about for the environment. But I came to know Google provides student subscription, but I haven't used till now. Do Oracle provide something like this for students?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have the answer right now, but I can check on it. But what I know is that what Oracle is doing is that on a yearly basis, they are providing free certification courses, and they publicize it. Maybe I don't know. I get that information, but I will definitely share my email address on the chat, and you can reach out to me, and I can provide that information when that is coming as a free. But for student, I have to check and I can get back. But having said that, definitely, if you are using credit card, I know that in India, it's kind of people are still hesitant sharing their credit card. But what I believe is that these public services, either it's Amazon, AWS, or Oracle or GCP, they need your credit card or debit card, but it's not like that. It may get hacked, because I believe they are so secure. So, anyways, they need a credit card, because why they need it? Because what happened? They provide you those services for a limited period of time, and then they feel like if you go beyond that, it again comes cost to their own data center. So that's why they take your credit card, so that if you need more services or more processor, so probably they can charge you. But I can assure from my end, definitely there would be some instances these days, to be honest, everywhere it's a business. They can charge you more as needed, but you can still use your debit card. If you feel credit card is more insecure, you can use a debit card which has less amount, and you can use debit card. But to answer your question, I am not 100% sure about the student, but I can check and get back to you. And let me share my email address in this chat. This is my personal email ID. I check very frequently. You guys can reach out to me for that. So, and I will come back if I forgot on that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Please share your email ID.
Yeah, I just shared on the chat, and I will definitely, I'm not sure, I will share my LinkedIn profile. If people want to connect with me, I can share that as well. So then you guys can connect with me as well. So any other questions? I know that we are on a lot of time. I was a little bit faster. I don't want to go into the other one because I wanted that we have a good background before we dive into the second one so that you guys feel comfortable. So if any questions coming up, I can try to help you out.
So we can announce a break anyways, in between your second session and now. It is up to your convenience.
Yeah, so we can do one thing. So we can take a break and we can get started. And maybe the second session goes longer. We can take that time, and if we are able to complete faster, then that's up to the uh,
Yeah,
people.
we are good to go with that.
Okay. So how long you want to keep the break?
So usually we take 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It's up to you. So just let us know
So
how you're comfortable. Accordingly, we give the time. It is 7 p.m. now. So should we call them after 7:20 maybe?
It's 7:05. So
It's
7:20.
7:20. Yeah, that's what
yeah,
I said.
yeah. Okay. So we can continue resume on 7:20 and
Okay.
start with the second session, and we can utilize more on that. Thanks a lot,
So
everyone.
yeah, that's the same thing I had in mind. So everyone will take a break, but before going for a break, I want all of you to read these important instruction. Since attendance of many participants is not very regular, so please keep in mind that your 80% attendance is minimal requirement. And before the evaluation we are going to conduct, you should have the 80% attendance mandate, plus the evaluation 70% score. That is something which you have been already informed on the WhatsApp chat as well. So with that, we'll take a break for the first session and we'll resume the second session after 15 minutes. Yeah, so shall we start?
Yes, I am ready for everyone is ready
So
for.
I've sent the message. I hope everyone has joined. Welcome back, sir. So we are
Thank you.
ready for your second session. So I'll stop sharing my screen
Sure.
so that you can start. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Harsha. So we can get started. So I believe most of the people are from the previous session. So this session would be a kind of a elongation from the previous session, which will talk more about how we deploy models of AI on the cloud. That's why I have covered the basic fundamentals of cloud. So let's get started. So let me share my screen. Okay, hope everyone can see my screen. Okay, so as I talked about in my previous session, so probably while you wanted to use or deploy models or deploy your AI models on the cloud platform, you have to first decide what cloud platform you wanted to use. And we discussed about Amazon, Google Cloud, Microsoft, IBM Cloud, and others, maybe Oracle. So again, first before you decide what cloud platform you need to see that the what are the main factors which are required for that deployment. So one is like if you see or I have mentioned, there are different AI framework and libraries like TensorFlow and PyTorch. The pricing model, definitely the technology plays a very vital role, but again, what billing model will help? Like if you feel like the AI model deployment cost and maintaining your AI application on Amazon is more cheaper than Google or Microsoft, you will select that cloud platform. Then what are the security and compliance standards? Encryption I had mentioned, like we have AES encryption, which is called advanced encryption services, which is mostly used on the cloud. Then what kind of authentication you are using? Like we have different identity and managed services. What kind of security protocols you are using? What are your load balancer, auto scaling? I can talk more about on this. So there are different various factors before you decide to deploy an AI model. And definitely, I am sure that AI was covered in the previous session, so I don't have to provide more insight. But just for memory, AI is a bigger term, and then after that we have all your machine model machines are like a machine learning, and then your comes the generative AI. So, but the AI is a broader term when we talk about, and here we are more focusing on the common generic AI. Okay. And as I was talking about, when we talk about key factors, so we have to ensure compatibility. Like whatever framework you are using, whatever libraries you are using to deploy the AI model, are like TensorFlow, PyTorch, or Scikit-learn. Are those compatible with your cloud or not? Because again, compatibility is very important. It doesn't mean that these any model you can use with anything. Like TensorFlow is more compatible with Google Cloud. So then probably if you are building your application using TensorFlow, so you may select Google Cloud. So it again depends what kind of framework you are using, and accordingly you will select that kind of cloud. Scalability. So again, if you wanted to know that you have that AI model deployment would be done in many regions or many places. And for an example, I was talking about in my previous session. For an example, if you wanted to deploy an AI model on a Dubai data center or Dubai region, but if that region is not available in Amazon, but it's available in OCI, so you have to see that. Then that will be one of your choices to use that. Now, pre-built AI services. Most of the time, like we talk about when we deploy models, we have to see what kind of services are available so that you don't have to pay extra cost. So in Amazon, we generally have computer vision, speech recognition, most of them which are mostly required. So people may offer Amazon, and definitely cost is one of the important factors. And like, for example, if you are using face recognition, and definitely you are using Apple iPhone, so definitely you are using an Apple cloud, and that Apple cloud is maybe not publicly available for the people to build their AI application, but definitely Apple would be using that specific cloud for building their face recognition feature, which they have inbuilt on the iPhone. So basically, as I said, whenever as a developer, as a coder, or as a customer, also you have to decide what fits best your needs, and then you need to select that cloud platform. Okay, so as I was saying that probably in my previous session, we were discussing about services, we discussed about infrastructure as a service, we discussed about platform as a service. So definitely this will give you kind of more relation. That's what I was saying, that this slide, this particular session will definitely help you relate what we have discussed in the previous session. So once you've chosen a cloud platform for deploying your AI model, you have to ensure that what kind of storage services. If you guys remember, I was discussing about cloud storage. I was talking about Amazon S3. So similarly on Google Cloud, we have Google Cloud Storage, and in Azure, we have Azure Blob Storage. So probably it depends. If you are using Amazon as a cloud platform, definitely you will use Amazon S3. So, and if you are using Google Cloud, you will use Google Cloud Storage. So it's kind of one-to-one relationship in one way. Then compute services, as I was talking about EC2. EC2 is kind of your compute engine, engine which is help for building your server, a virtual server. So EC2 is an Amazon service, and then we have Google Cloud Engine, and then Azure Virtual Machines. So again, you have to decide what services or what engine fits well for your need. Then your cloud machine learning services. So for example, on Amazon, for deploying your model, your services, or anything for specifically for machine learning, you use Amazon SageMaker. So you have to see Amazon SageMaker. If you are comfortable with SageMaker, then you will use Amazon SageMaker, and then Google. If you are using GCP, then AI platform and Azure machine learning. So basically, in my future flight, I have compared the services also to give you an idea what services is relevant to what cloud, so it will give you a good picture. Serverless services.
So,
Yes.
how do we decide on finding the suitable cloud? How do we like what are the parameters on which we take a call? Okay, we'll go for Amazon SageMaker or this Google
So again,
AI.
as I was saying, like before you try, when you plan to deploy an AI model, as I was telling you, you have to see many things, like as I said, because these services or deploying AI models would be done by a technical person, right? And being a technical person or your company, what is your expertise over there, first of all? As I was saying that if you have a TensorFlow kind of TensorFlow, you're wanting to use it, and then you have to definitely go with Google Cloud Services or GCP. So, and if you feel like you have more choice of a cheaper version, and you feel like Amazon could be a cheaper version, then you will go for Amazon. So that's what I'm trying to discuss. So this all which I have starting from cloud platform, these are all the factors which help you to select it. And eventually at the end, you will come to decide that it would be best suitable for your deployment of AI model. So all these are parameters, the cloud platform, the cloud service. And again, I understand your question was at what cloud platform you need to use. So again, as I said, again, it depends on various factors, like your expertise is depending whether what is cheaper for you. You have to go with the vendor and discuss, okay, you want, for an example, you want to make a chat bot, or which is on generative AI, or you want to build a chat GPT is already there, you wanted to build similar thing with chat GPT, okay, and now you wanted to see, okay, what can be the best option. So you will have a sales team from Amazon which you need to reach out. They will show you the cost what has encountered for chat GPT, and then you have to go to Amazon Azure. So it's again, you have to see what your best needed, how many regions you want to deploy, which region, if that region is available in which cloud, what applications are more compatible. Are your applications are more Microsoft based? Are your more applications or Google based? So all those factors will come into consideration along with what your needs are. So does it give you an answer on that?
Yes, yes, I got it. So main your service your services are being availed by Microsoft base or a Google base or a Mac base. That makes a lot of
Difference.
contribution. Yeah.
Right, right. And like for an
Okay.
example, maybe as I was saying that for deploying a AI, you need a processor as these what you call graphical processor unit GPUs. Then maybe if your application is very high intensive workload, you have to see that what is the best TPU available. Like for Amazon, for suppose you may have, I'm just saying, I don't know the exact configuration, 25, but your application need 30, and you feel like it's not available on AWS, but it's available in Oracle. So definitely you will go with Oracle, right? And if you feel like, okay, 25 is available and you need 25, but the cost is more cheaper on AWS, so you will go with AWS. So all these factors have to consider, and definitely that requires knowledge of the application, that requires your requirements, and definitely you need to work with the vendor to understand and then come to a decision.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, got it.
and now coming to the cloud tools. So every cloud, they will have their own tools to deploy the, like cloud tools such as cloud id, integrated development environment, cloud CLI, command line interpreter, software development kits, application programming interface, what is available on what cloud, what is the best for you. For an example, I was talking about when we were talking about infrastructure as a code, we talk about cloud formation. So cloud formation helps you to build an infrastructure on Amazon. But now Terraform is coming into picture, and Terraform is widely used across the cloud. So you can use Terraform on AWS, you can use Terraform on GCP, Azure. So you have to decide what kind of tooling you want. But if you feel like, okay, you will be mostly working on AWS, so you will use CloudFormation. And CloudFormation is a combination of YAML and JSON. So then you will feel like why you wanted to go with Terraform, because you may not have the expertise of Terraform. But if you are if you are thinking from a longer aspect, like tomorrow you may change cloud, you may move from AWS to Google, so you may go for Terraform. So many things you have to think. That's why it's not an easy bet. So whenever in my experience, whenever you migrate from on-premise to cloud, there are a lot of discussions which you need to do with the customer. You need to understand their need so that you help them to take the right decision. Because as a company, like you guys are into an institute, I am working for a company, I am representing my company. I can't go for a short term benefit for my company. I have to educate the customer and see that what will eventually a best bet for them in a longer term. And I will touch upon my experience. So right now, I will tell you one thing. While I'm not bifurcating, it may be related, which I could have shared in my previous session. So right now, one of the initiative Oracle is taking, we are moving. We have one of the biggest client which Oracle has acquired, which is into AWS, and we are moving into OCI. Now, your question would be, we are spending so much money from AWS to OCI, meaning Oracle Cloud. Uh, so what is the need? So if I ask you a question, what you can think upon? Can anyone answer that question? Or got it what I'm asking? Because it's very well connected with these questions, with this slides and my previous slide. So basically my question is that right now we have a very big customer which is into AWS, and we are migrating into OCI. So what would be the reason behind migrating into OCI?
So
So
again, the cost maybe, or
y-
the availability of other extra resources, what we are using, like if I'm using a GPU, TPU, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. So to answer
And
your
you will be
question,
managing
yes,
hello,
sorry, please go ahead.
you will be able to manage better with your own
Yeah, both are very good points actually, and that's the reason. Actually, when we acquired that customer was onto AWS, and now we figured out, as to answer your question, we figured out why we are paying that vendor so much cost when we have our own cloud. And as you said, managing is also dependent on AWS. Though we are having so much big difficulty, that project is going from last 2 years, and probably it may go into one more year or maybe more than that. We are spending millions or billions of dollars, but we are looking for a long term, right? So that's what I was talking about. Similarly, when we go for any migration, we have to think from a long term, what would be their AI model deployment needs, and which will help them saving their cost. And that's what we try to do. And that's why we have to be very selective in terms of selecting our cloud services, cloud platform, challenges, security, and all this what I'm talking about is not only relevant to deploying AI model on the cloud, it could be any services, maybe it could be analytics, anything which is very relevant. But all good questions, and yeah, definitely you given a very good answer. So again, deploying your AI model comes with your own challenges, and definitely your challenges are mostly into your privacy and security, your cost and performance, complexity and compatibility. So again, you have to ensure that what would your best protocols, people, as I said, security is very important aspect. Customers are mostly concerned about their data security. Data migration is a very important role, and it's not easy also. Like again, one of the challenges which we are facing is migrating the data, because the data is too large, and again, the data is on AWS and moving into another cloud. What security we can do, how we can migrate, what tools we need. We are building our own tools on the top of the tools which are available. We are customizing those tools. We are customizing APIs, because the parameters on AI on AWS are different on the parameters on OCI. The compatibility is different. The coding, the scripts are different. So a lot of work is being done, and those are the challenges you can face deploying your AI model as well. So as I was kind of sharing in my previous session also, again, this could be a little bit older because I utilize, but again, Amazon, Microsoft, Google are definitely the top cloud providers, but I know that Oracle has also come into a big picture and probably fourth in number or maybe third in number. But that's what it is emerging, because Oracle came later actually. I don't know people are aware. Amazon was the first public cloud service provider which came into picture, and which was having lot of breadth and depth of the services, many regions, many different services. So most of the customers, the first come customers were Amazon based customers. Then when people realize that their applications are mostly into Microsoft, so they felt like Azure could be the best bet. They started moving from Amazon to Azure. Some people started using multi-cloud. Now, as you know, that Oracle is into all the clouds, Oracle database. So now multi-cloud concept you will see later. And I believe at one point of time, you can use services also of one cloud to another. So many things will come up. Okay. So I will discuss about red based AWS use case, how machine learning AI works on cloud, and it will give you a better picture. So probably what I'm talking is that many people would have used this Amazon Alexa. We connect with the app. We have a red bus. So we generally, I have just tried to book a use case. Like we wanted to book a ticket from Bangalore to Mumbai, and we from a red bus. So probably we say when we Alexa, please it's the date and time. So we say like this is my date, and then they will say this will be booked. So from concept to production. So basically, what I'm trying to show over here is that all this is complete kind of a, if you see, combination of cloud, combination of artificial intelligence, speech recognition. It's all talking about that, and all is on the cloud. And most of my slides would be focused on Amazon, because Amazon, I feel, though I have a comparison slide also, but I have taken Amazon as a use case because I can't take every cloud. But as you know that again, these recommendations, this inventory management, voice-driven interactions, everything which we see is a combination of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And even on the Amazon website, when we do a shopping, we get recommendations. We even feel like what we shopped yesterday. On that basis, they will say the suggested items, or they see that the prices are all this is combination of both cloud as well as machine learning. So this is I was just trying to say at a high level. So wide AWS for AI. So basically, as I said, wide variety of services of AI ML services for your business, low cost and ease of use, support for all the popular framework, wide variety of HPC machine. I'm not trying to say that AWS is the best for AI, but I what I'm saying is that I have taken AWS because AWS kind of widely used across more as a leader. So I wanted to show it, but again, it depends again on your framework you want to use, which I covered. What is your business need? What you are comfortable with? What your application based are. So I have just taken an example of a machine learning stack from AI services, and I have compared with other also. So like AI services which we use on Amazon, we have and then we have recognition video, then we have a speech one, which we use this one, the language we have, and the services which we are using for building, we are using Amazon's SageMaker on AWS. Similarly, for others, we are using others. And the frameworks which we are using are TensorFlow, PyTorch, all these different we are using infrastructure, all this. One sec. Okay, so what I did is just for easy purposes, I just tried to compare. So what I did is like, as I said, now AI machine learning is available in all the AWS, Azure, GCP, and why not OCI? Because I'm from Oracle, so I can't leave Oracle also as well. So it depends what your kind of generative AI. I need that you guys have talked a lot about it. To be honest, I don't have so much in-depth knowledge. Maybe with the people who are, they have a lot of knowledge. And unfortunately, I have missed those, but I would love to learn more. But again, like generative AI, we have service in OCI, then again, AWS Bedrock over there, Amazon OpenAI services over there. So similar, same things are being done on different clouds on different services. So it depends what kind of service you want, and you select the cloud on that basis. So so many AI. I have just taken AI and machine learning for the sake of it, because similarly for compute also we have a comparison, for storage also, but I have tried to compare specifically uh, AI and machine learning. So similarly, text analysis, as I was showing, for Amazon, we have complement, we have for here for OCI, we call this. So different places. So it again depends. Vision AI, Amazon text track. So it's all upon depends on your need, your your need. So that's what all is all about. Data preparation. Okay. So uh, any questions so far, or I will give you definitely some time as I gave in my last session for any questions before we proceed further. Okay, so moving on. So as I was saying, like definitely, if I'm taking about a use case for Amazon, so Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed service that enables data scientists and developer to quickly and build easily machine learning based models into production. So we have inbuilt ML algorithm, pay by the second, flexible model training. So it's this is a part of SageMaker actually, and I will show you the flow how model deployment also work. So all these are part of SageMaker to deploy a model into production. So this is a praise. So let me start with, so like we have a business problem. How does it work? Then we have a ML problem framing, machine learning problem framing, which we will do after a business problem. Then we have a data collection, and then we have a data integration on top of it, and then we will have a data preparation and cleaning on top of it, and then we will have data visualization and analysis on top of it, And then we have feature engineering on top of it. And then we'll have model training and parameter tuning, because if the model is not performing well, we have to ensure that what kind of tuning we can do on top of it. Then we have to evaluate a different what kind of model we are using. If that model is not suiting well, there are different models which are available in the AI or business machine learning space, and we will use that. And sec, our business goals met. If no, then it's fine. One sec. It will go back again. We will again start the process of collecting the data. And as you know, that machine learning is all about visualization. It's about all predictive analysis. What is the data collected from the previous, and we will go back again if we need more data, more integration, and all those stuff. And then we will, and if we are meeting everything after we have done everything on the model evaluation part, then we will have the model deployment done. And this will happen on the cloud, and it will have the, again, after you have deployed, you have to see whether you're monitoring any debugging, any issues are happening. And then again, you have to again keep on training, because tomorrow you may have to again refine your model. You have to again, for an example, if you have built your for an example, you have built a chat GPT or a chat bot. It can happen that you have to see that it's not responding properly, or it has more features, so you have to keep on retrain it. You have to keep doing the cycle. That's what it's all talking about. And for all this, you have to use this different services. Amazon S3 is a storage, Redshift is your predictive analysis, a database, EMR is Elastic Map Reduce, then Amazon Glue, Athena, these are all your Amazon services. And similarly, if you are using a model deployment on Oracle or Google Cloud, you will have different services. But the process of deployment on will remain the same. So again, this is more talking about Amazon SageMaker, what all is a part of, like we have Jupyter over there, which is GPU power workspace for data scientists and developers. Then we have those algorithms built on top of it. Then we have the training services and SM hosting services. So if you need know one cloud, you are comfortable with deploying model, and you can build on the other cloud. Just you have to ensure that you're using the right services, the right framework, and you have one-to-one comparison. That's why the slide which I have shown you, which was comparing one-to-one, that helps you. So that helps you. Even right now, also, whenever I study about any other cloud, I just try to figure out, okay, what was the service which was used in Amazon and what is used in GCP, so that I can use that. So that kind of comparison is very helpful for anyway. And I will not go more into the architecture. It's kind of little bit complex over here. But again, it start with training algorithm. Then it's all more into your Amazon specific needs, and more about, again, what kind of model you are trying to deploy, what are kind of training you are doing, what kind of framework you are using. So it talks about all, and that's more one too. So actually, this is also done very faster. So any questions from anyone which we can take it, so that I give a lot of time. Yes, Chandra.
Oh, yes, sir. But, sir, let us say a scenario wherein a startup, especially for MSMEs in manufacturing, let us say they want to do some inventory management application. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there may be there are some startups who are doing this sort of services. So, can you just briefly explain how this goes about? What are the
So
roles and responsibilities of each stakeholder?
yeah, so as I was talking about, whenever any kind of migration or any kind of model building, anything you wanted to do on the cloud or AI, you have to have a responsibility assignment metric. So basically, you have to see if you are having involved with databases. So you have to have the database administrators in place. So you have to assign the responsibility to DBAs for that. So you have to have a DBA, right? Similarly, in any deployment model, if you are having these frameworks to be built. So you have to ensure that the resources which are working on machine learning or on cloud, they have the knowledge, so that training is being considered or not, whether those resources are trained or not. So you have to have a set of developers or the technical architecture. And first of all, you have to need a technical architect, because those will define what kind of structure you will build. Like as I said, like storage is needed, so you need to see the how the data flows from S3. Then what kind of stack you are building. Like if you are building provisioning, you are want to use containerization, you have to see whether what's feasible for your manufacturing unit. So you need to have a technical architect for that. Then definitely you have to see uh, what kind of framework you are trying to use. Like for an example, you want to use agile, so you have to see whether you have the agile program management are needed or not. Then for example, you are using building scripts, so if you need a terraform to build upon, so whether you have a terraform expert over there or not. So basically, to answer your question, main pillars for any transformation, any migration, or building any AI model or AI deployment, you need to have the right set of developers. Testers also plays a very important role. Now with DevOps coming into picture, if you are not wanting to have a set of specific developer, then DevOps is very important part of it. Then security is very important. What kind of security architect you have, because you can't compromise on security. So data architects you need to have. Then you have to have people who have already done that, because whenever like you have a kind of any migration, any deployment, you need to ensure that the company or the people have that kind of experience or not. You just can't kind of go into and build the application. So that's very important. And again, the right set of services are being used. You have that kind of knowledge on it. And so I would segregate into 7 8 categories. See, we have the required resources or not, what we are trying to build, have a kind of a prototype build first, what we called as a point, the POC, which we called proof of concept. Do a small proof of concept. If works, go ahead and start with that. Does it help that?
Yeah, thank you. And just to extend this question, let us say a MSME who is not having much of technical know-how, maybe he goes for a startup. And let us say that startup is taking care of all the activity, and let us say the top management or the MSME is just seeing the dashboards just to get to know what is really happening. Maybe some key sensors, maybe as MSMEs, they may be wanting for low cost services. So maybe for some critical parameters, they want to, let us say, a machine, they want to know what is the condition. Well, as you said, predict predictions.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things are possible, right, with these services, right?
Yes, definitely it is there possible. But again, you have to see that what best fits into your need. So, but again, sometime what happens that maybe they may not have what entirety you needed, then you need to have that kind of expertise to build and customize it. And if you are fortunate enough, you need as you said, if it's a small unit, you can use all the pre-built models also. You can you can use the pre-built services, but sometime customization we also needed.
Fine, fine. Thanks for the answer.
Hi, sir. What is GCP actually, and how can we create a new, yes, yeah, free cloud on it?
So GCP is Google Cloud Platform.
Yeah.
So basically, again, any public cloud you can use to get started on the cloud if you don't
Mhm.
have the knowledge. And for that, you have to sign up an account as a user and user. I'm not talking about organization, because an organization you have to have a contract with that. Like for example, I'm from Oracle, okay?
Mm.
So and now you are a customer and you wanted to use Oracle Cloud. So though I am a technical manager over there, you will be not talking with me. We have a sales team over there who will provide you, we will understand your needs. Like for an example, you say that I wanted to build a chat, anything for your institution. They will understand what are your needs, what is feasible. They will explain you, but and then you will go from there. But to answer your question, if you wanted to, you have to go into the Google Cloud website. I can definitely share some resources. I would suggest right now I don't have anything handy, but definitely you can reach out on my chat and but for your answer, you can go into Google Cloud. As I said, you need a debit card or a credit card. Just sign into the services. You have to see if there are any promotions going on. Sometimes they provide you free services earlier for 12 months or something like that, and then you sign it up for it. And maybe some services are free and maybe some are not free, but if you wanted to use basic services, those are free. You can start provisioning a server, you can start uh, deploying applications and start from there.
Okay, thank you.
And many of the softwares nowadays, let us say some CAD packages, etc., are being, especially for educational institutions, it is being offered free of cost. The cloud softwares, cloud-based softwares. Is it a short-term strategy, or is it part of their policy? Because they get revenue from other business customers. So, how does this work, sir?
So basically, to be honest, these are these if you see providing free services, whether for educational needs, whether for end users, these are kind of a business making. For an example, once you deploy it, once you start with signing it up, whether it's educational services, probably they want that definitely if you have signed it up, you will be using for long term. So I am sure that at one point of time, maybe they will provide you free for a longer term, but when they may start coming up, as I was saying, if you want specifically needs for any model deployments or any specific services which require, like if you see for an AI model, you need a TensorFlow unit or tensor processing unit or a graphical processor unit. Those are very costly actually. And if you are using a simple EC2 instance like a T2 micro or any database, which is a very small instance type, which is very less of cost, they may provide you that cost, but they may give you an application. Okay, they know that this guy will move to AI at some point of time, so they will start charging you. So to answer your question, I feel that it's all kind of a strategy. To be honest, nobody does. There are no free lunches. So at some point of time, they will definitely charge you, or they will make a kind of create a situation where definitely you will have to be charged. So, and if they are not charging, then definitely for educational needs, they are trying to get all those accommodator from the other customers because they have to show what they are providing on the educational needs as well. So it's kind of I would say 50-50 situation or a win-win situation, but definitely they are making money for sure from some or the other way.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Like Geo, and maybe the student community would be their future users also. That could also be one of the points. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for the session.
No problem. Thanks. Anybody has any other questions?
So does it also depend on the kind of application we are deploying if it is carrying, like for example, let's say Government of India is doing a lot of data saving of Aadhaar
Mm-hmm.
on cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So how ethically the other, it's a countrywide data. It's a very sensitive data. You're talking a lot of things which can go right or wrong. So
Correct.
how ethically they are taking care of such sensitive data of one country government share data on other, because we all know it started on other cloud. Now probably they are porting it on their own cloud. But earlier it started on, I think, Azure, Google Cloud only in the beginning. So
Yeah.
how things are looped into that we are totally trusting one platform with our sensitive data, which can be seriously used in any which way they want.
So again, like as I said, that this security and data is a very sensitive topic, and it's kind of whenever you are reporting or when you are working with another cloud, they have to go with kind of various agreements. Sometime in some regions, things are not allowed as well. And this is all about a part of contractual sign up. What is feasible, what is not feasible, what kind of security we can provide, what what we need, what ports we need to open, whether what is publicly accessible. These are all defined as a part of you can say statement of work or SOW, which is being signed, the contractual agreement between the customer and as well as uh, the service provider. And even sometime government approvals are all needed. I remember, like in one of my current projects, I can't disclose. So we are getting approvals from the government also. We work with government, right? Like for government of whether it's American government or any Indian government. So we have to get a kind of approval from it. For that, then we have right people involved, like security architects, or if it's involvement of data migration, then data architects. Then sale team has to involve the right stakeholders, the right people, get it all signed, agreed, then only these things work. It's not like just simple we can start with the cloud and start doing whatever we want. If we are having data over in this cloud, if we wanted to share in another cloud, it's all part of a lot of discussion. I would say that whenever any cloud migration, anything happens, specifically from the organization point of view, all the negotiations, agreement, before the actual work starts, it's a very cumbersome process and many stakeholders are involved. Then it comes to the IT people. So that's why we say that that's why people have chosen cloud, because at least those things take so much time, because the deployment of applications, the infrastructure as a code, infrastructure as a service is very fast, but the majority of time is taken all on these discussions, associations, requirement signing, which is a major chunk actually.
Does they keep in between any kind of stakeholder from the other, that particular government side, or
Yes.
is it
No.
only they
No,
do?
do they do, like for an
Okay.
example, if for government or you said Aadhaar card, I'm just giving, I don't know about totally, but for an example, definitely we government also now have IT division over there, but they don't have that capability. They don't have the knowledge of AI or so. But if they are talking from any consulting company, like for example, when passport was built, remember TCS was taken into consideration. So it depends on the passport department. There will be some IT head and they will definitely work with the IT head of our IT division, and then IT head will take into the government signing. And so definitely to answer your question, all the right stakeholders have to be involved. We have to identify everybody, from whether it's the financial department, whether it's in from the security department, whether it's from the data department, legal counsel, everything, every person is involved before any deal is signed up or worked into.
Thank you so much, sir. So I think with that, we would come to an end. Sir, would you take more queries or should we ask the participant to stop?
No, I am fine with any queries. If needed, I can stay on. It's up to the participants. I am
No,
more
I think you
happy.
have answered many, more than enough queries. Still, last query, if anyone can ask,
Yeah. Uh, Ma'am, yeah, I would like to have maybe one or two queries.
yes, sir.
Sir, as you know, there have been some efforts by Indian government. Recently, Reliance had some collaboration with OpenAI. So, where do you see maybe will there be some Indian players coming up in this field?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I can't answer that question properly, but what I would say would be involved if you see any kind of big, whether it's a Google Cloud, whether it's Amazon or any Microsoft. If you see all the big players, all the big CEOs are Indians only. But over here, when you talk about OpenAI, anything, the government will definitely be interested, and definitely there would be some again high stakeholders involved. So definitely, I believe there would be a association between these teams.
Okay, sir. And one more last query. For example, our educational institution has some collaboration with a vendor who takes care of learning management system, LMS. So they manage this hosting the quizzes, database of marks, etc. So I think they have a small company. So they need to follow all these protocols or the methodologies that you mentioned, right? Whatever the size of the company be.
Yeah, so I will tell you one thing, like at my organization, we have a learning division in place. Every organization, whether it's a small or a big, every company has a learning and development organization. Whenever we release into anything into production, for an example, you wanted to have a any software developed for your institution, after we have delivered that to you, we have a learning and training department which will specifically provide you all the training needs to your institution, so that once we hand over that specific software which is built for your institution, whether it's on AI cloud, and so that you guys are comfortable with it, and there would be a handover document built, there would be a training built, there would be a recording as you guys are recording, everything will be provided to you, and then on top of it there would be an agreement that okay, we will provide 15 days of training, 20 days of training, 15 days of support. That would be all part of the agreement and will be taken care so that you guys can be good on your own.
Okay. One last question, sir. Because many of the companies also install Edge along with cloud, maybe in hybrid mode, maybe to avoid latency for some critical processes or maybe for security reasons. So can you just brief on that?
Can you come back again? Sorry, I was distracted. What
Yeah,
was the question?
edge computing. Some of the key
Oh,
resources
okay.
they manage by themselves.
Right. So what is your question on that?
Okay, like uh, so this combination works in a sync, right? So when you say some of the data is going to the cloud and some of the data is managed by in the premises itself for whatever the reasons. So it so how do you see this, sir?
I would see that like in near future everything would be on the cloud. As I said, like keeping your data center, keeping your data or some part on your own cloud would be anyways expensive. Only thing is that what companies are doing is that whenever they move to cloud, being not comfortable, they are trying to be in the hybrid mode, but at one point of time every company would be publicly into the cloud, but at the same time they wanted to have a compatibility. If tomorrow they wanted to move from AWS to Azure or Google Cloud, they have that kind of compatibility. And that's why, if you remember, I talked about infrastructure as a code. Terraform, they wanted to be universally available. So what is coming into the trend in the industry is that they will try to have a kind of a uniformity, kind of kind of a code which they can use all across, so that we can be multi-cloud, and at the same time we are kind of don't have to do the rework. So any scripts, like for an example, Python is widely used. If you see about machine learning, AI, all things, Python is one of the language because kind of more platform independent and more widely used. So that's what they will try to select the services, so that companies doesn't have reliability and it gives more independence, and at the same time helps to save the cost.
Okay, fine. Except for sectors like defense, maybe some critical, what do you call spheres. I think most of the others would be going for cloud. That is what
Yes,
I understood. Okay,
yes,
thank
that's
you very much.
So I think
okay.
we stopped taking the queries, sir.
Sure.
I think this was the last query. So thank you so much, sir. You've actually taken us so deeper into cloud and AI. So we will start exploring more things so that we can have an extended session sometime other. So for the formal vote of thanks, now I would like to invite Dr. Abhishek Gupta. Dr. Abhishek is the assistant professor from Department of Information Technology, having over 13 years of academic experience and a receiver of two prestigious awards on innovation education by NASA Trust UNO and Niti Aayog Government of India. Along with being the NSS cell coordinator, sir is also the department level coordinator for placement cell and sports cells of JIMS for Satluj. Over to you, Abhishek, sir.
Thank you, Harsha ma'am. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Jagannath International Management School and all the participants, I extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Sagit Gandhi sir, cloud migration leader and cloud strategist, Oracle, for an excellent session on cloud computing fundamentals for AI integration. Sir, your insights and practical knowledge have been truly inspiring and invaluable for our understanding of this critical topic. We deeply appreciate your time and effort in sharing your expertise with us. Thanks to the organizing team for their efforts in ensuring the smooth execution of this event. Once again, thank you, Sakit sir, for making this session so engaging and enriching for everyone. And we look forward to more opportunities to learn from you in the future. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Over to Dr. Harsha, ma'am.
Shamam, you are on mute. I think Harsha ma'am's speaker mic has gone into some trouble. Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. It has really been a very enriching session. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we'll move to the ending of the session. I would like to tell the participants regarding a web page that we have created for the comfortability of the participants to get the resources. I'll be sharing the screen to just give a glimpse of the site and how to utilize it. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
So this web page address has been shared in the chat box. It is containing the FDP resources, the FDP recordings, and session-wise feedback links, along with the brochure, schedule, and participant guidelines that were required in the prior of the FDP. So the resources have been shared in the Google Drive, so that will be accessed using the registered email ID that you have given with the ATAL portal, in which you are receiving your Zoom link as well. So you need to just click on the link, and you should have been signing into your Google account with the same email ID. You will be seeing these folders, day-wise folders, in which all the resources have been uploaded. So this is the day one folder in which the talk of Mr. Gunwant Singh Khanna has been uploaded. Similarly for day 2 and day 3. So this is the resources and the guidelines shared by the speakers with you all. Second thing is about the session-wise feedback, and all the links have been given over here, so you can just scroll through, and the link will be open just after the session, and it'll be open till next day 12 p.m. So try to fill the feedback form in that particular time. Then we have the recordings. So on this page, you'll be getting all the recording link. This will be uploaded by tomorrow. So just be patient while till tomorrow. So we'll be adding all the recording till date, and the links will be available on this page. I've shared the link with you all, along with it is given on the site as well, so you can check from there. If any doubt you are not able to open the resources, just ping Ms. Dr. Abhishek Gupta or to me, and we'll sort the queries. Thank you so much.
So requesting everyone to just switch on the cameras. Our guest is waiting for the group photograph. Ma'am, I think now, sir, you can switch to the full screen mode so that others can also join us. So with that, we come to the end of day 4. For now, we would like to wish everyone a warm good night and expect everyone to join tomorrow as per the shared schedule. Thank you so much, Saket sir, once again for your time today and solving all the queries, of course, with so much of, I could see that people are trying to go deeper and deeper, but since we are from academia, we want to learn each and everything as best as possible in short span of time. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.